You open your calendar. It's December 31st. You scroll back through the year. January, March, June, September. 12 months, 52 weeks. Scroll back through the year. January, March, June, September. 12 months, 52 weeks. 365 days. You were there for all of them. You lived them. Every single one. But when you try to remember what happened, there's almost nothing there. Just a blur. A sense that time moved, but no shape, no markers. No landmarks. The year didn't pass. It faded. This is the calendar fade effect. And at minute 12, you'll see the exact moment a year stops being a collection of memories and becomes a single gray block. People say years go by faster as you get older. That's partly true. But it's not the whole story. Years don't vanish because time moves faster. They vanish because nothing leaves a trace. You had experiences. You went places. You did things. You talked to people. You made decisions. But if someone asked you right now to name 10 specific moments from last year, not holidays, not birthdays, just ordinary moments that stuck, could you? Most people can't. Not because the year was empty, but because it disappeared without leaving landmarks. This is educational storytelling, based on composite scenarios and research. Not medical, legal, or therapeutic advice. Let's reconstruct what happened. January. You start the year. Fresh, clear, ready. You make plans. You set intentions. You tell yourself, this year will be different. And for a few weeks, it is. You notice things. You're present. Days feel distinct. Then February arrives. Then March, you're still living. Still working. Still moving through time. But the days start to blend. 1 week feels like the last. 1 month feels like the others. You're not bored. You're not unhappy. You're just moving. And moving without markers means moving without memory. By June, you can barely remember March. By September, the first half of the year is already a blur. By December, you're looking back at 12 months and seeing almost nothing. Not because nothing happened, but because nothing became a landmark. Pause now. Think about last year. The full 12 months. Without looking at photos or calendars, can you list 5 specific markers? 5 moments that weren't holidays or birthdays. Just ordinary days that you remember clearly. Not categories. Not, I worked a lot or I traveled once. Markers. Concrete moments. Days that left a trace. Most people struggle. They can name 1, maybe 2. But 5? Almost impossible. Not because the year was forgettable, but because the year was never marked. And unmarked time doesn't stick. Let's look at the evidence. 3. Clues. Clue 1. The month that vanished completely. You're scrolling through your calendar. Looking at the past year. You land on April, or July, or any random month. You stare at it. 30 days. You lived every single one, but you can't remember a single thing that happened. Not one event. Not one conversation. Not one decision. The month existed. You were there, but it left no trace. Clue 2. The photo you don't remember taking. You're looking through your phone. Camera roll. Last year's photos. You see a picture, a place, a meal, a person. You recognize it, vaguely, but you don't remember. The moment, the feeling, the context. It's not that you forgot. It's that the moment never became a memory. It happened, but it didn't stick. Clue 3. The question you can't answer. Someone asks you, what was the best part of your year? You pause, think, Scroll mentally through 12 months, and you come up empty. Not because there wasn't a best part, but because the whole year feels like one undifferentiated stretch. No peaks, no valleys, just a flat, faded line. Let's reconstruct the timeline. Month by month. January. The year starts. You're present, aware, noticing. February. Still distinct. You remember a few things. Specific days. March. Starting to blur. 1 week. Blends into the next. April. Fading. You're living, but not marking. May. Almost gone. You can barely remember what happened. June. This is the collapse point. June. 6 months in. Half the year behind you. You look back at January. It's already a blur. You remember almost nothing, not because January was boring, but because between January and June, there were no markers. No moments that stood out. No days that left a landmark. No experiences that anchored memory. The months passed, but they didn't stick, and once a month fades, it's gone. Not temporarily, permanently. Because memory doesn't compress evenly. It compresses around markers. If there are no markers, there's no memory. Just a sense that time moved. This is the calendar. Fade effect. Without distinct markers, memory compresses months into blur. So what's actually happening here? Let's go to trial. The prosecution's case is simple. You're not paying attention, not being intentional, not making meaningful experiences. If your year disappeared, it's because you let it. Because you sleepwalked through it. If you cared more. If you lived more deliberately, the year would stick. Guilty, not the defense, calls one witness. Your memory system. Your brain doesn't record everything. It can't. That would be overwhelming. Unmanageable. So it compresses. It filters. It keeps what matters and discards the rest. But how does it decide what matters? Markers, moments that stand out, experiences that break pattern, days that feel distinct. Holidays work because they're pre-marked. Birthdays work because they're anchored. But ordinary days, they need you to mark them intentionally. If you don't, your brain treats them as background, as noise, as forgettable. And forgettable days don't become memories. They become blur. The prosecution says, you let the year disappear? The defense says, the year had no landmarks. A year disappears when nothing becomes a landmark. Verdict, not. Guilty. You didn't lose the year. You never marked it. So here's the question. Can you make a year stick? Can you turn 12 months of living into 12 months of remembered experience? Yes, but not by living more intensely. By marking more intentionally. This is the marker ladder blueprint. A simple daily system to create memory landmarks that make time visible again. Step 1. The daily marker. 1 per day. Every evening, before bed, create one marker. Not a journal entry. Not a reflection. Just a marker. 3 components. Takes 2 minutes total. Component 1. One photo. Anything from today. Doesn't have to be beautiful. Just specific. A coffee cup. A street corner. A piece of paper. A person's face. Component 2. One sentence. 7 to 15 words. What made today distinct? Not a summary, a detail. The elevator smelled like coffee. I noticed the tree outside had new leaves. I said no to something I usually say yes to. Component 3. One mini symbol. A physical object. Tiny. Fits in a box. A receipt. A ticket stub. A note someone wrote. A leaf. A business card. A wrapper. Place it in a designated container. A jar. A box. A drawer. This is your marker. The thing that makes today different from Yesterday. Step 2. The weekly review. 5 minutes. Sunday evening. Sit down with your 7 markers. The photos, the sentences, the objects. Look at them, read them, touch them. Don't analyze, don't reflect. Just revisit. This is memory consolidation. You're telling your brain, these days mattered. Keep them. Step 3. The monthly anchor. 10 minutes. Last day of the month. Review the past 4 weeks. 28 to 31 markers. Choose 3 that stand out. The 3 that feel most alive. Write them on a single card. 1 card per month. Put it somewhere visible. Your desk, your wall, your mirror. This is your monthly landmark. The thing that makes this month distinct from the others. Step 4. The year map. December 30-1st. Sit down with 12 monthly cards. 12 landmarks. Lay them out. January to December. Look at the year. Not as a blur, but as a sequence of distinct moments. This is your year. Not vanished, not faded, visible. Here's the failure point. Step 1. A daily marker. You start strong. Day 1, day 2, day 3. You're creating markers. It feels good. Then day 4. You're tired. You skip it. Tell yourself, I'll do 2 tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. You forget. Or you're too busy. Or it feels pointless. By day 7. You stop. Why? Because daily habits fail when they feel optional. When the benefit is distant. When there's no immediate cost to skipping. So here's the escape route. If you miss a day, don't try to catch up. Don't do 2 markers the next day. Just create 1 marker for today. Then, on Sunday, acknowledge the gap. Write it down. Missed Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday. 3 unmarked days. Don't judge it. Just see it. Then continue. The failure point is perfectionism. The escape route is continuity over completion. A year with 30 markers is infinitely more memorable than a year with 0. Now here's the experiment. 7 days. 1 marker per day. Every evening, create your 3-component marker. Photo, sentence, mini symbol. On Sunday evening, review all 7. 5 minutes. Then rate 2 things. 1. Marker count. How many days out of 7 did you complete? 0 to 7. No judgment. Just data. 2. End of week vividness. 0 to 10. When you look back at the past 7 days, how vivid are they? How clearly can you see distinct moments? 0 means blur. 10 means crystal clear. Track both. Compare week 1 to week 2, week 2 to week 3. Most people see this pattern. Week 1. Marker count. 4 out of 7. Vividness. 6 out of 10. Week 2. Marker count. 5 out of 7. Vividness. 7 out of 10. Week 3. Marker count. 6 out of 7. Vividness. 9 out of 10. The pattern. The more you mark, the more you remember. Not just quantity. Quality, mark time, doesn't blur. It sticks. Here's the restart rule. If you stop for a week, don't restart the experiment. Just begin again. Day 1 of markers. This isn't a challenge. It's a practice. Every marker counts. Even 1. Let's look at what changes. Before the markers. End of year. 12 months behind you. Memory, blur. Maybe 3 or 4 moments. Vague ones. Feeling. The year disappeared. Time moved too fast. Nothing stuck. Question. What happened this year? Answer. I don't know. It just ... went by. After the markers. End of year. 12 months behind you. Memory. Dozens of distinct moments. vivid ones, feeling the year was full. Time moved, but I was there. I remember it. Question: what happened? This year? Answer: you can list 10, 20, 30 specific days. Not summaries. Moments. Same 12 months. Different experience. One faded. The other stuck. The difference isn't what you did. It's whether you marked it. So here's the real question. What would it feel like if this year didn't disappear? If December didn't arrive with a sense of where did it go, but instead with a sense of I was there. I remember. If you could look back at 52 weeks and see not a blur, but a ladder of moments, distinct, vivid, real. The calendar fade effect isn't a time problem. It's a marking problem. Years don't vanish because they're empty. They vanish because they're unmarked. And once you start marking, time becomes visible again. Not slower, not faster. Just present. Think about last year. What do you actually remember? And what will you remember about this year if you don't start marking it now? See you tomorrow in the examined day.